Hi, my name is Denzel. I co-host a podcast entitled Real Nerd Hours, and we're on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Pocket Casts, any number of platforms. And I'm here today because once you mention something on the internet, you have to follow through with it. Otherwise, what are you really talking about it for, right? I mentioned on the podcast that at some point I would make a video about the equipment we use and like tips and stuff for people who are starting podcasts because that's the new hip thing. The first thing that I'm going to get into in this video is the equipment because that's, I guess, something that people are more enamored with than anything. But to start, what I will say is that the least important thing about podcasting is the equipment you use. And that's for good reason. I'll get into it later in the video. So the first thing that we use is, or I guess the reason why you hear us, or part of the reason why you hear us, is a microphone. Of course, everybody's got a mic. This is the microphone we use. It is the Audio Technica AT 2020. They're about $100 or $79, some between $79 and $100. They are good. They're good. They're perfectly serviceable microphones. I would recommend maybe using other ones. If you're an actual seasoned audio engineer, the microphones will make a big difference to you if you and your co-host are sitting in the same room. But for me personally, they don't. I could have really used any number of microphones. The one that I'm talking into now is one that I've had for a few years at this point because I had tried podcasting before after I had done like a little web radio show that didn't go anywhere. The microphone that I'm using here is an MXL 770 and it's running into a Beringer Xenyx Q802 USB mixer. And the reason why I don't use this on a podcast is because it's limited in its channels and I need something that's able to output 4 channels of audio at once. And the microphone is just some old junker. This boom arm here, which I don't use on the show, is a Rode boom arm. I don't know the model number. The link will be in the description. I don't have like an Amazon affiliate thing, so I'll put the name and the product in there just in case if you're wary about that. This right here is the mic stand that I use. I bought this from Guitar Center. It's just a kick drum mic stand, and it's got a neat little boom arm on it. It's kind of tough to see because of the shot that I've rigged up, but it's got a little 5-pound weight at the bottom. The microphone sits out here and yeah, it sits on a little arm. You can adjust it and all that. It's not expensive. It was probably about $15-20 or something like that. You'll definitely want to get one of these. This is indispensable in the podcast game. I'm not listening to this audio, but you may notice some big pops. Here's one. A pop, big pop. When you're using it like this, it softens the P's and B's, mostly P's. Yeah, it definitely, you'll be able to tell the difference. They're pretty great. The first few episodes we didn't have these, and it was very obnoxious for people who were listening through subwoofers, and it was tough for them. The last thing that we use is this Focusrite 18i20 big audio interface. It's gigantic. It's a big thing, and it's rack mounted. It's very expensive, but you don't need to go out and buy one of these. Focusrite makes a lot of really good products, and one of them happens to be a lot smaller than this one. The Focusrite 2i4, I use this on my desktop as well. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why because I have the mixer as well. But, you do what you want when you're popping. There are some entry-level microphones and things that you can buy for your show that are pretty good. I'll put them down in the description. That includes like the blue Yeti, the blue Snowball, the MXL 770 or 990, the Audio Technica AT 2020. You can even get one of those microphones that you would see at like an open mic or any other sort of event where, you know, they have to give people microphones to speak into. You can use a headset. You can use all sorts of things. A lot of them will do you just fine, assuming that you can properly prepare the audio. Now, I can't give out any good audio engineering advice because I'm not an audio engineer. You need to decide how committed you are to the show, because that'll dictate what equipment you can get. There are a lot of different items out there. There are various podcasts with varying sound quality because the equipment, again, isn't extremely important. The illustrious audio engineer Sean from The Biggest Problem in the Universe, The Dick Show, The Best Debate in the Universe, and a few untitled projects that haven't come out yet, gave me some advice when I first was going to start my podcast. And what he told me was that the talent is the most important thing, then the room, then the equipment. The talent being the people sitting behind the microphone. It doesn't really matter what equipment you have if the people sitting behind the microphone are boring. That's just how it goes. The room is because you can't eliminate the echo in a room. You can't. There was a long time when The Biggest Problem as well as The Dick Show were being recorded on kick drum mics. They were just instrument mics. And Sean is basically not only the most handsome man in podcasting, maybe even the world, but he's also a very, very experienced audio engineer. He's very good at what he does. And if you are as good as him at audio engineering, you can make anything sound fine. The equipment's not that big of a deal. Now, with that said, buying better equipment isn't going to suddenly make your show sound amazing. It's just not. What you want to do is get some basic beginner equipment and then record using that for a while. It's not, getting good equipment's not going to make your show good. You're going to make your show good. You and your co-host are going to make your show good. With all of that said, I'm going to give you advice on some things not to do during your podcast that listeners don't like at all. Some even hate it. Don't eat into the microphones. If you're hungry, eat before or take a break during the show. Don't eat on the mics ever. Ever. Don't drink into the mics. Don't snort into the mics. Don't do that. That's disgusting. Don't blow your nose into the mic. Don't cough into the mic. Don't have people talking in the background of your show. If you want somebody to be on your show, have them on the show. Otherwise, you don't want them talking in the background of your show. It detracts from the attention that you and your co-host are getting from the audience because they're straining to hear the people that are not on microphones. Don't do that ever. The last one is pretty tough. I'm not going to lie. It's an issue that I run into pretty frequently, and it's pretty difficult to avoid if you're still a novice at speaking. But the problem is using filler words. Using filler words is a big problem if you're saying things like like, and, so, right, I mean, I know, basically. It's tough to avoid saying those things because when you speak normally, that's how things come out. And the more consistently you learn how to speak, the less editing that needs to be done on the sound engineer's end or the audio engineer's end. It's something that I run into a lot on my show. I have to edit out a lot of likes, and so things that don't necessarily fit into the stories that we're telling, because it is easy to be taken out of a story once you start saying things like and, so, like, especially if they're happening consistently. It's tough. It's just a hard thing to do. I'm still working on it. A lot of people are still working on it. But once you have experience, it'll go away. Just something to keep in the back of your mind. All in all, I'll put my recommendations down in the description, and you can find this and some other chit chat about this topic on the subreddit for my show, and my show along with Chet's. Chet's not here, but you can find all the relevant information in the description below. And if you're interested in any more information on podcasting or anything like that, with my limited experience, I'll do my best to help you out. I'll make another video if the streets want it, if the SKREETS demand it. Anyway, I'm Denzel. Thanks for watching. Check out my podcast, Real Nerd Hours. You can follow me on Twitter at ThatDenzel. You can follow the show at XRealNerdHours, and enjoy your day.